welcome to one of the most exciting nights in the film festival. I've been looking forward to this evening for weeks. I need to thank our presenting sponsor, Lynda.com, for making the whole festival possible. And tonight's Virtuoso Award is sponsored by Stella Artois. All of the performers tonight, Demian Bichir, Patton Oswalt, Shailene Woodley, Melissa McCarthy, Serkis, and Rooney Mara, have made incredible music on their own. But tonight, all of them together, we're going to see a symphony.
Now, the 6 people that we're honoring tonight, some of them have been nominated for Critics' Choice Awards, some of them have been nominated for Golden Globes this year, some have been nominated for Screen Actors Guild Awards, some have been nominated for Oscars. But there's only one awards body that had the vision, intelligence, and foresight to honor all 6 of them, and that is the Santa Barbara International Film Festival, Virtuoso Awards.
Patton Oswalt.
Hello, Patton.
Hi. I love the awkward applause break when I go into that door and then I go in the little hall. There's a part of your mind, don't you want me to come out in a totally different outfit, like when I go in the one door and then somehow I come out in a dress and I'm like, hi, Santa Barbara, virtuoso, like that.
Well, yeah, what you fail to realize is that the second applause is congratulating you for finding.
Exactly, yeah. We literally, everyone you see for the rest of the evening, at one point we are sent into a dark closet, like we don't know what is happening. It's like, am I rushing a frat? What is going on? Just give me my award. I just want to get out of here without a tattoo or something.
Okay.
Yes. Ask your first question.
Although I think this crowd would actually like to hear 8 minutes of stand-up. For the love
of God.
Okay, I won't make you do it. So, first time you read Diablo Cody's script for young adult, A, did you have the part at that point or not? And B, what went through your mind?
First, no, I didn't have the part. It was, I was friends with Jason, and he got the script and wanted to hear it read out loud to see, you know, how it sounded and, you know, get an idea for it. So I was part of 3 different table reads with a lot of different people, and it wasn't until the 3rd read, which is when Charlize came aboard, and the way that she and I just kind of started teasing each other, and we just immediately got along, and it was like, that's what I want in the relationship. So that's when it wasn't, I just thought I was doing him a favor and going to the house and having free snacks. It was great. And then after the 3rd reading, he called me as I'm driving home saying, hey, you're going to be in this movie.
How embarrassing would it have been if you had done 3 table reads and not gotten the part?
Yeah. Wouldn't it be amazing if I'm driving home and he calls me and goes, do you have Paul Giamatti's number? Because I think he would be, don't you think he'd be amazing?
That would have been awkward.
And it would have hurt me too, because, talking about method acting, I gained 40 pounds for this movie 15 years before Diablo wrote the script. That is how committed I was, that committed to this film. So I'm just saying that, you know, I don't see De Niro doing that at all.
Would you say that you know this guy? Is he someone that you know, or is he inside you in some way?
I know him partially. You know, everyone I think goes through some of this in high school. Even if you're popular, there's times you just feel like you're just not a part of things. A lot of acting is very imaginative, and you have to imagine other lives. And I had to imagine myself if I hadn't left my small town that I grew up in and hadn't gone to the West Coast and pursued stand-up. I think I would have been a lot closer to Matt. And you can imagine that, and you know, I think that's what I was able. I so got into that life and imagining 20 years of that I just sort of fell into his skin.
For people who haven't seen the movie, I don't want to give anything away, but something interesting happens with your character and Charlize's character, but there's interesting development in their relationship. What was your reaction in that first table read when you realized this is what happens to the character of Matt?
Oh boy, you know, exhilaration, a lot of terror, a lot of, you know, kind of, it was this weird thing of like, if they're able to pull off this relationship, that's really going to work. And so it kind of got me over the embarrassment and the discomfort of what that scene would entail. Does that make sense? Like, as a movie buff, I was like, oh, I want to see if they pull this off. And there were times I remember myself, you know, you're right in the middle of this naked when this is happening, this thing you want to see happen. So, you know, I was very torn, very torn.
You know, it's fascinating. You started your career in stand-up, and it happens sometimes in the case of you or Zach Galifianakis that a stand-up comedian is able to kind of bridge that gap and do film work. Other times that people try it and it doesn't work. What would you say were the most important steps that you were able to take? Was it Ratatouille, doing the lead voice in that? Was it Big Fan? What do you think the top 3 things that got you to this point are?
You know, that there's one thing beyond any role that I ever had was really early on as a stand-up, I would see actors decide to try, I'll just try stand-up, how hard can this be? And they would bomb miserably. And what I realized was stand-up, acting, writing are all their own disciplines, and just because you're very, very good at one, treat the other ones as if you're starting from 0 and respect the craft of that. So any acting job that I ever got, I always treated it like I am a neophyte, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm going to work just as hard as I do on my stand-up. And this film especially, for the first time I hired an acting coach, I worked with a physical trainer. And you know what else? So that was like the first thing was the knowing that I don't know anything about what I'm doing and accepting that. The second thing was for a lot of different reasons, I did it a lot. I was on a TV show for 9 years, I did a lot of little things in movies. This was the first movie that when I would do scenes with Charlize, I didn't see the cameras and crew, which I know a lot of professional actors that work all the time, that's why their performances are so good, because they're not aware that they're being filmed. And that came from me just doing it for so long that I finally just was able to blank them out. Some people have that talent naturally, I don't. So I was happy that I've had the career that I've had that gave me the time in front of cameras to then not see cameras.
And then given that you spent so many years on stages where you're crafting everything so that it builds up to the joke, so it builds up to the laugh, how do you try to train yourself off of that when you're on a set where you cannot play the jokes?
It's weird that you say that. As you get older as a comedian and keep doing it, what you actually start to cherish on stage are not the build-up to the jokes, it's the how comfortable can I be in the silence and in the non-laughing parts. How long can I take the audience without a laugh and then get a huge reaction? So, because I was starting to get into that world these last few years as stand-up, I was way more comfortable on screen with especially this movie is all about the, kind of the, it's almost like this, it's a symphony of awkwardness. And it's all of these moments where words just absolutely fail them. So I just gotten comfortable with that, and so kind of happened. I was very lucky that they both happened at the same time.
I've had the pleasure of watching you and Jason Reitman and Charlize give a few kind of panel Q&A talks about this movie, and the relationship between you and Charlize is crazy. I mean, it's bizarre, and you guys just rib each other and go off each other, and there's times where I would watch and be like, do they hate each other? Do they love each other? I couldn't really tell. I have a feeling you probably like, or you guys like each other, but how would you describe the relationship?
It's the thing where it's like, when you're really, really good friends with someone and you're so comfortable that you can just insult each other all day. It's almost like you insult each other. Like, the friendship is so solid, it becomes like a flight simulator. Like, let's crash into the mountain and see what happens. Like, we're not gonna die. We're not actually flying a plane. So I'm just so comfortable with her that I'm just like, whenever we do these things, we talk about like, what is the worst thing we can say to each other at these panels. So I'll always bring up like Aeon Flux and just like stuff, and she'll just grit her teeth and go, so, but it's just great to have that kind of relationship.
So if you bring up Aeon Flux, what does she bring up?
Oh my God, she'll just, all she has to say is, you shirtless, and she wins. So there's no, why, I can say anything to her, who cares?
Well done.
Thank you. Well, hey, it's great to, I mean, again, it's an honor to be here, and it's also really amazing that to be one of 2 motion capture performances that are being honored tonight. That was, I spent so many months in a skin-tight Patton suit, basically, with the dots, so that, I mean, just Serkis, buddy, you and me, right? Yeah.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank you. Thank you.
See you.